everybody. Welcome to Paradise. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Copyright strike on YouTube. Whenever we get the VODs up.
Which will be well past the year buffer that you need to before it's public domain.
That would take like 100 years, I think. Anyway, what are we doing? Yeah, welcome to Paradise. Welcome to Adrift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play D&D show set in our homebrew world of Aradun. Our music is licensed through musicbed.com, and our ambience, if and when we ever use it, is from Syrinscape and TabletopAudio. I'm gonna bring Shannon in.
Who's that?
The woman on screen.
It's me. Hi, everybody. And hi, Sean. I didn't say hi to you. This is the first time saying hi to you since you sat down. And hi, Steph. I didn't say hi to you either. Hi.
All right, screw me and Clayton.
I said hi to you when I logged on. You two are the only here when I logged on. So it's your fault if you didn't hear that. That's on you. Hi. Nothing. I'm gonna talk about our partners, if that's cool.
It's so cool.
Cool. It's so cool. All right, starting with Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a TTRPG publisher creating new worlds in the Cypher system and beyond. Their current focus is Foxfire, a science fiction TTRPG with a strong emphasis on high adventure and fun, full throttle action where you play as anthropomorphic animals who left Earth behind long ago to take their place among the stars. For as little as $3, you can become a member through their website and gain early access to this developing TTRPG and each of the other worlds that they create. Next, we have Eddie Yorke. He is our character artist.
Real quick. Harrow is 50% off right now on Drive-Thru RPG.
That's exciting. Can somebody put that link in chat?
I shall.
Thanks. That's cool. Harrow is 50% off on Drive-Thru RPG right now. So look in chat for that link. Woo. Eddie Yorke, our character artist. He's an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. And that's Yorke with an E at the end. Last but not least, we've got 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for D&D and other TTRPGs. In this campaign, Sean has used their NPC cards to create super fun NPCs for us to interact with. Did you use a card for Sigil?
No, Sigil is mine.
All right. Well, for other characters in this, I was trying to find a connection.
Fiora Bendega is a card.
Great. Fiora Bendega was the character we talked to a lot last session, and she was a card. So, yeah, cards are fun. Check them out. And if you want to purchase anything, you can use the code paradiceprod for 10% off your entire order. I don't want to talk about the VODs. It's just with every passing week, I'm just getting angrier. So.
Well, Shannon, of the missing link, I did upload a while ago, one of the missing links. So some of the ones up there.
Tell me?
I thought I did tell you that during a pre-show at some point. No. But if you look in there,
said you were going to.
You said we'll chalk it up to the world. But
Sean, notorious for good communication.
Yes, that's right. Because I communicate in the highest moment of tension for drama's sake. But there should be because we didn't upload for a while because there was one episode missing from things, and either that or I didn't tell you because the upload didn't work for some reason. So we can.
Well, I'm trying to look right now.
Well, let's not look right now because we're playing.
Well, I'm all done. So
Oh. All right.
Let's do it.
All right, last we left off on the 18th of the Shining Shadow, the year 1326. Septimus has returned, but at great cost. His body was reformed from materials on the material plane. But also, it seems that it took the lives of many of the people helping out on his farm. He found himself reborn up on the hills above his farm, near the doorway that Lacuna long ago tried to enter. As he descended the hill, these small cinders of red, blue, and purple followed him, setting small fires that snuffed out pretty quickly. Arriving at his farm, he found the husks of the people who were working on his farm, helping repair the farmhouse. He went inside, took what he needed, and as he left, the cinders themselves burned the farm to the ground, and began his march to Ivan.
Sean, the boys aren't on screen.
Oh. There they are. Back in Hyven, the party began speaking with an awoken Fiora Bendega. She was tortured by the Aradunai, and they had cut off one of her hands. She's replaced it with a mage hand, but they asked her a lot of questions about the Aradunai and what happened to her. The main things that they learned is the Aradunai have left the city. In that they're searching for a powerful elementalist on the material plane, someone they believe can be the key to their potential plans for basically wiping Alma off the face of Aradun. Jacquette, and in time the rest of the party, realize that this figure is likely Sigil, since he's demonstrated enormous elemental power since you've known him, as well as the fact that he's not an Alma and that he's not from the material plane, all lead you to believe that this is the person they're after. Fiora offers her services to you in whatever way she can help, starting with writing a letter to Professor Nettle up in Stony Heath to learn more about her research that she believes is connected to what's going on. The party decides to head to the academy to talk with Sigil. On the way there, they get into a fight with a fire salamander and some fire elementals that seem to have been formed spontaneously and through wild magic in the Whistling Mountain potion shop. They're able to defeat them, and Saskia closes the elemental rift with dispel magic. When questioning, the shopkeeper basically says it happened spontaneously. There was no indication that there was any issues with the potions. There seemed to just be an unstable rift that appears, suggesting that it might be connected to the Incarnache demi-plane that may have weakened the threads of reality here. Saskia looks around and Jacquette consults Dalen's journal to learn more. Jacquette learns that Dalen used shadow magic to create temporary teleportation circles, and that there was always a potential for a wild magic surge when he did this. That potential was so small when he was doing it that it was negligible, but when an entire plane collapses, or entire demi-plane collapses, that percentile might not be negligible. Saskia discovers through her devil's sight that there are magical ley lines around the area, and that these sorts of things, altogether, you believe these sorts of things may be like lightning strikes that may hit at random times. You believe Sigil might be able to help you understand this. Back in the countryside, Septimus, having been walking since sunrise, reaches Fairhold around 2 p.m. to see it crowded with all the refugees from Hyven. He asks to know what happened in the city, and many don't know the fate of the city. But more importantly, he starts to proselytize his faith as he begins to heal the people of Hyven there. When he does so, as if casting the regenerate spell, missing limbs, lost eyes are replaced with this machina weave of metal flesh. Some are resistant and still hesitant to accept this. Others are eager for it, particularly those who are most vulnerable. He spends the afternoon healing, and every person he heals adds a cinder of magic to the aura that follows him, these little flecks of fire. As he finishes his work, he continues his trek to Hyven to arrive late into the night. And that's where we left off. So, Septimus is walking. The rest of the party, you are still heading to the academy, I believe. Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and Jacquet flipped off the AEC after killing the fire salamander.
The most important detail.
Yeah, of course. Got to maintain that that notoriety. But easy enough, you can get to the Admiralty Court. You find that when you arrive at the Admiralty Court, that the gate is not wide open, but it is open ajar. There are guards there, but for you, Fyrn, particularly, you notice there is a smaller guard presence in the Admiralty Court. You can assume that it's because most of them are out in the city doing the work that you worked on yesterday, and others are probably at the entrance to the city, preparing for the arrival of the refugees back. The streets are very empty. The people of this part of the city either fled or are probably still kind of holed up in their homes, still a little nervous about going back to their daily lives. Similar to the streets below, Hyven is essentially a ghost town. When you get to the academy, though, it seems as though the academy is operating as usual. You see students walking to and fro. Maybe not as many as you would normally see, but it looks as though of everyone in the city, the academy was the only ones who really didn't flee the city, probably feeling like they were safer on the academy grounds. But easy enough to get to Sigil's library. The massive double doors open to your presence, and you can walk in and head right to his office. When you get to his office, the automaton guards are standing, flanking the door. The large clockwork automatons. But they don't really react to you. They just sort of stay there. They view you as friendly. Most of his servants that are usually in there, his disciples, they are not there. He seems to have dismissed them during the crisis. But when you open the door, you find him exactly where you always find him, like an NPC in a video game. He's scrawling in innumerable scrolls and books at his desk. Somehow tea always ready when you arrive. But he would look up and sort of close the book he was writing in and just say, I was wondering when you would arrive. Thankfully, Bruce alerted me that you did not suffer an ill fate within the demiplane. Quite impressive work, collapsing a demiplane of a diadect of the hells.
Yeah, that was mostly Bruce, and we didn't all escape unscathed. Jacquet says, not meeting Sigil's gaze.
And you see he looks across you all slowly, like he's counting you.
1, 2,
2,
3.
3. There should be 4. And it's a rather unusually long pause, though. As if your first instinct is like he does not understand that you're implying that Septimus didn't make it out. But then he looks quickly away from you, stands up, and returns the book he was writing into his shelf. He's in his usual sort of like white garb with the simple mask showing the face of a man, only his eyes visible, with the like singed flesh around the eyes. He would look and say, "Yes, that's right. I suppose you're also looking to find Bruce."
Yeah.
Right.
I always saw he was all right, but he's not here.
No, unfortunately, he left this morning.
Oh.
He was erratic and concerned for what is coming. I'm sorry to say that he has returned to Halcyon.
Returned by himself?
Well, a cube of teleportation is a powerful thing. And Koboko has plenty of teleportation circles in Halcyon. He was concerned...
Right, but my point is that he just left us here? After everything we've discussed.
Didn't even leave a note.
He
I
left.
a note.
He left a message with me. He left to tend to his family. He's concerned for his grandmother in Halcyon, given all you've learned about Halcyonic corruption. He's concerned for Koboko. He's concerned for the people he loves there. Reprisal from Halcyon should be expected after what you've done. If that connection is as strong as we believe. He said he will continue his research and send word to you with what he discovers, and that he may return if he can, depending on the situation in Hyven, or Halcyon.
Okay, cool. Great. So we're too short. Now, when the true enemy has shown his face. Fantastic. Fucking fantastic.
He left some of his findings with me. Things that may be helpful in your understanding of the goings-on beyond, from his time away in the Astral Sea.
Jacques at this point is like leaning over, I imagine like the little like table area that has books and stuff, but also like the teas and usually where he puts the sandwiches, as I recall, that he'll bring in.
Yes.
And he just
there's a true
looks up-
crisis when there's not sandwiches ready.
Right. He just looks up at Sigil and goes,
That's all well and good, but who the fuck are you?
and he turns confrontationally and goes,
Bruce knew something was up about you. He didn't share exactly what it is. And now we've heard that the Ascendancy was looking for a powerful Elementalist. And who do we know in this city that's really good with elemental magic? You. So, for once, Sigil, please, just lay it out for us. Who the fuck are you, and what the fuck is going on?
Please.
and Jacques gestures as if that wasn't obvious that he was meant, please.
Fyrn kind of looks at the other two and says, "Yeah, I think we deserve an explanation. You could have said it a little nicer, though.
It's understandable, though. We've been through a lot.
Yes. You've been through a lot, as all in the city have. And all Alma have. I suppose I do owe you some explanation.
No, not some. All.
Please.
Please.
Your demeanor is distrustful.
So is yours.
No. Here's the thing.
I would argue my demeanor has never been distrustful of you all.
I trust you, Sigil. I just don't know who the fuck you are. I'll be honest, at every turn, you have always been, with what you've said, truthful, and you've kept your word. And you've never done anything to harm us. But we're dealing with things far beyond our capabilities. And with our two smartest party members gone, we just, yeah. We need straight shooting answers. And I don't have time to pussyfoot around anymore.
But he's not a cat.
Sigil actually
This
laughs
close.
a little bit.
This close.
It is react how your character would, but like Sigil, probably the thing that's always been maybe a little bit irritating about Sigil is the casualness of the way he speaks in Crisis. And that, like, and I think him laughing at Sass's joke would be infuriating for Jacquette, probably. Walk with me, and I will explain.
Jacquette rolls his eyes, but will follow Sigil out.
Roll your eyes all you wish, Jacquette. But I believe it'll help in the explanation to descend into my lower chambers. And he brings you down the hall through a few turns. You pass by where you originally interrogated Greaves, the bedchambers that Bruce stayed in, to the archway that pinged with magic, for those of you who noticed it. And he steps through it. And as you follow, you feel that change in the air, that sense of passage through into a demiplane similar to the one you just collapsed. You begin to descend steps, and as you do, it's becoming a mixture of crafted stone and earth, underground water, lava, and a light breeze channeling through. As you
To
will
the other two,
yeah,
Jacquette just goes,
I don't think we're in Hyven anymore.
it is concerning to hear that the Ascendancy is aware of my presence on this plane of existence. I try to conceal myself as best I can, hence some of the secrecy, and hence why I don't leave Hyven, or really the library, unless demanded. I am a powerful elementalist, as you have seen. But I have command over elements that is not Alma. I have command over elements because of my own spark. My love of learning about Alma is because of your souls. a unique thing. Something nowhere else in the cosmos. For you see, these demons, these devils that you combat with, they do not have Alma. They have something else, but it is not the unique freedom that is your soul. Myself and others of my kin, like me, I wouldn't say kin. Kin is a rudimentary and rough understanding of it. Have our own spark. And it is difficult to adjust. I am Sigil. That I've always been truthful of. A name unknown and lost to Alma. I am, or was, the elements. And he kind of turns around at you all as you've reached a dead end. The rock behind you begins to melt away.
All of the elements?
Nothing in this world or any world beyond is not always forever in flux and in constant changing into something else. Perhaps the only thing that isn't is these Modron that you've dealt with. I came here to be amongst Alma. Often. Quite often. Some of you may have even met me before. When you were children. Growing old. But this time, when I came, I could not return. Something changed in the fabric of your world, and my world, and all worlds beyond. This lacuna, I believe, is responsible. But yes, I believe there was something one of you said, or perhaps Bruce said it. A seat at a table was opened up. My seat.
Are you a god?
A god?
A misnomer. I believe a more apt term in your tongue is ordning spirit. And as the rocks all melt away, you can see that plinth that has that crown on it.
So, go ahead, Bruce. I need, you're not Bruce. Fyrn, I need to figure out my fucking thoughts.
Yeah, just looking at, what he's saying and this image in front of us, Sean, this crown, does it remind me of any, old history or stories, anything that I would have researched when I was studying nature and stuff like that?
Go ahead and give me a Arcana, History, or Religion check, or Nature check.
Okay.
What kind of check are you going to do, Fyrn?
Nature.
Alright.
I got a 13, but I probably have a thing to fix that. If you fail a saving throw, no, it's the one that's for second wind, I can add a D4, I believe.
Yeah, there's something with
A D10. I can add a D10 to ability check. If it still fails, it's not expended. So I'm gonna roll that. I got an 8 on the roll, so that my total's 21.
Nice.
21. All right. I'm actually going to ask everyone, both the other two, also to do the same check. Again, it could be Arcana, Religion, History, or Nature.
I will be doing Arcana because that's the only one it's not negative.
Same.
Oh, nice. Dirty 20.
19.
I win.
Okay, wasn't a competition.
It's always
Well, Fyrn
Unless
beat
I
you.
won. Unless I won, it's not a competition. Okay.
As you're all thinking about the enormity of what he's telling you, that this at first weak and broken man, then stronger elementalist is in fact the ordaining spirit of the elements. You seek your minds for this some kind of knowledge, some kind of inference, some kind of memory, especially as he said, I've likely known you all at some point. Fyrn with the 21. You think desperately to your own research as well as your upbringing of the spirits and the elements. And you know that there was always sort of a story in your clan and other clans of the northern tieflings that the elements, well, one, you all hold quite a lot of oral tradition with history that's kind of lost to the rest of Aradun. So there's always these stories of what you all would call gods, and the planes of existence. And there was always this separation in the story of gods that create planes of existence to separate themselves from Alma. And then there are gods who are planes of existence, which now you would connect to your research on ordaining spirits. Manifestations, if you will. They are the plane manifested. And these thoughts fade, though, to a memory of you and Hornless as young boys getting into trouble, wandering the ice fields. And you remember just getting this random encounter where you found an old man by a pond, a frozen pond, who was ice fishing, of all things, and seemed to be manipulating the elements, shaping the water, not to make it more advantageous to ice fish, but just almost whimsically, because he enjoyed it. And you just remember a memory you don't even think you remembered before this, of just learning quirky little lessons about elements and spirits that was a little different from the more threatening sages of your village that talked more about the dangers and the respect that you need to give. Which then almost shifts to you remembering, like, Sigil talking to you all about the raccoons and how, they aren't violent, really. They're just scared. And there's this almost superimposition of that crown on that old, silly sage. He wasn't masked or burnt up like Sigil. He's just an old, weird hermit who was proficient in the elements. Saskia, your memory is a little more recent because you don't have the other ones.
I'm gonna rub it in.
But you have a similar like memory of a quirky person proficient in the elements that other scavengers in Shallow's Gaunt used to say, "Oh, man, people really should keep away from that guy," you know. But you remember this man. He was not older. He was probably middle-aged, and he looked a lot like other natives of the area. Sun leathered skin. But you always remember these very like beautiful, like pale blue eyes that contrasted the harsh skin and premature wrinkles, bald and dressed as a hermit would be in like salt crusted old rags. But he would constantly teach children about the elements by the beach. Children who had snuck away from their scavenging responsibilities because Shallow's Gaunt's got a lot of child labor issues. That it's tradition. They got to start scavenging at 5.
Gotta learn the ways.
But you remember, you never really spoke to this man. But you would observe him every now and then when you were sort of sitting by the sea. He was often sort of teaching near where you would sleep in your little hideaway. And you remember one day, just somebody got mad that he was teaching these things, and the only thing you remember him just saying is, somebody has to teach these children about the elements, otherwise they'll never protect them when they grow old. And similar to Fyrn, you start to think about Sigil and think about all the cosmic things you've learned and how it might actually not be that strange that there's such a powerful figure in your life. Jacquette, you would think back to Domuzerum, to like the others, a hermitage-like figure, very akin to Saskia's, in that there was a guy who everyone was like, that guy is crazy. Don't let him in. He is preaching about the destruction of Aradun, particularly in like the mass industrialization of things. Domuzerum being a principal capital of like extraction. Someone who maybe when you were very young, your older brother dared you to go and talk to the guy, to give him a copper in his little basket. He was amongst the elites. They were always questioning how he was making it into the upper rings of Domuzerum, the upper layers. Very like a homeless philosopher type figure, a Diogenes, if you will, who was very different from these other two, where there's this one was a little bit more bitter and like sardonic. But you remember like it being kind of a scary encounter when you were younger, because you just started to yell at you to get away, to get back, like very much so like you're some rich kid messing with him. But then like sort of seeing how scared you were by that, and seeing your brother laughing behind you. He would like sort of like shh, 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 and then like produce in his hand this little tiny flicker of flame and kind of indicate to take it. And as you nervously as a young boy take it and eat it, no. He kind of looks towards your brother and kind of gives a little like toss gesture. And you turn around and toss it, and then there's just sort of like this little burst of like fireworks start blowing up all around your brother, which is pretty for you, but for your brother, infuriating as his fur is singed, and he comes over and grabs you and drags you away as the old hermit is cackling madly, you know, in the streets. But similarly to Fyrn, you would think back to some of those lessons you might have been not paying attention to at the university, but like still some of it through osmosis snuck into your brain, about the elemental planes. You would have learned more formally than the others about the concept of ordering spirits was new to you, but not the concept of manifestations, and that each plane has a manifestation that is what we call gods, in that they have domain over those planes in some way, and that there's, for a lot of them, there's the belief that there must always be a manifestation. There must always be someone sitting at the table for it. And if there isn't, one will be created or one will rise. You would have also sort of learned that through the lessons that were rampant through Gwenvalir about Iluvania and what Chiron discovered, that without, once she was revived, and that there was this other manifestation, that this lesser god, and that this cycle must persist, or at least does persist. So in all of your memories, you sort of feel this sense of, even though you've known Sigil for quite a while now in Hyven as this hermit librarian, there is a sense of knowing him longer, and somewhat understanding what he's saying he is to you all. And even more so, somewhat understanding what he means when he says, "My seat is open." And that he may not be that manifestation anymore.
So, this is probably a very stupid question, but the place you're from, where there's a seat available, where is that? I feel like I should know the answer to that, and I just don't. Or can't access it right now.
Wasn't it he spoke when we were in the north about a realm of it's like a chaos and order. It was like Pandorum or something like that. Shoot, what was it? I'm gonna find it in my notes. Sean, feel free to chime in.
Pandemonium was what it was called. And I don't believe, we don't have any idea where this metaphorical table is. I think it's a metaphor for our plane of existence. Or,
no, it's a literal table that exists.
For their plane of existence, our characters, yep. Not me. I don't live in this world. That's crazy. Why would you say that?
We didn't.
Okay.
Yes, the Pandemonium was the sort of place that you learned about through the candles he gave you to light. Now, there's more lore to Pandemonium than it just being Pandemonium. Fyrn, you would have a little bit of understanding through your homeland that there's sort of the spiritual realm, as you would call it, the elemental realm, does have sort of a like oscillating mixture of order and chaos mingled into one, or at least what your Alma would perceive as order and chaos. You know, that was often spoken about as like the ways that elemental spirits manifested, and that these dangerous ones had that sort of chaos to them, while others were more akin to being part of the land itself. You know, an earth elemental might just simply be a mountain, and it doesn't really care to do anything but be a mountain.
I think I remember now. You were there long ago, the old man on the mountain.
Yes. I don't have the clearest memory of every story I learned in my visits here, but I would come often and return. And as I said, I can't return now. I believe I've been working towards this, doing my own studies and meditations. And it wasn't until the north that I realized I couldn't just sit and wait to find out what is happening. To be truthful, as you requested, this exile was welcome. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be amongst Alma. Something that my peers don't necessarily share. A feeling they don't share. But this is what is drawing the Aradunai to me.
So
what are we in this scenario? If you're some spirit that lost its dominion, why follow us for so long? Why are we just some pawn in your grand plan to return to power?
You would be mistaken to think that I only touched your lives. I've spent millennia coming to Aradun. I've met almost every person on this planet at some point. But no more. I am just Sigil, the librarian now. It was not me following you. It was some destiny. I merely met you, listened to you, maybe yelled at you, maybe. But no, I don't have grand machinations. It is not my nature.
So, you said that it may be because of Lacuna that you have lost your seat. You told us back in the north that there was a reckoning coming, which we've heard from many extraplanar creatures, Ro, Enkranosh, through Greaves. What can we... So, if Lacuna is stopped, there's the chance that you will regain your seat, as it were, and assume your role as a deity?
The best ways that I can describe it in terms of your last statement of deity. What you, as Alma, call gods, do not see themselves that way. Some will adopt the crown given to them by Alma and influence more, but most, with the most respect possible, view Alma as having an inflated sense of importance. Hence why prayers go unanswered. Hence why messages are cryptic. It's as if the courier stopped in and asked you a rushed question about his personal life, and you have no concern whatsoever with it. So, deities. Most don't have that same sense of self. Some are like the mountains, where they don't really care to do much at all. Others are like Iluvania, who sees a charge, a responsibility to the material plane. I don't know if I want that seat. Each day I've spent here, the less it concerns me, the less I'm drawn to it, until I met you all today, or in this year. Lacuna is a force, a charge, a corruption of... or even corruption may not be the right term for it. A manipulation, perhaps, of this great march of the Modron. The first to happen, or really the first to not be interrupted. The Modron would seek to take stock of the entire cosmos and discern if anything needs to be rearranged. Lacuna believes that all must be rearranged.
Who the fuck put him in charge? Why does he get to make that decision?
He's not in charge. Primus is in charge. Something happened to create a gap, a void of knowledge, or a void of purpose. Ordning spirits don't behave like Olma or some of the other gods. Lacuna is taking advantage of... I don't even fully understand myself. It's my time on this plane, my time as this form has muddied my understanding of the cosmos, muddied my link to a lot of it.
I wish to know more about, less about the threat that comes to us and more about what you are now, what you can do, and why our enemies hunt for you. In the north, we relied on you to get rid of a great power. The corpse of a god was described. Was that some way for you to... Where did that power go? Did you dissipate it? Do you wield it now?
I returned it to Aradun. I returned it to, in some way, myself. Your world is a superimposition of the elements. The elements laid over each other, over and over again, in infinite equations. You have rock, you have water, you have flame, wind, lightning. All of these things are the elemental planes overlapping into a single force. So what returns to Aradun in the long long reaping returns to me. But I am not in control of that. Because it has been long since I have been in control of that, there are challengers to that control. Those who seek a seat. Whether they are manifesting anew, or are older spirits, or mortals. Some gods were once Ulma, forsaking their humanity, their humanity, for that spark, that manifestation, by choice sometimes, and by punishment or trap in other situations. I mean, this is a history that dates back eons.
As he's talking, can I see if I can talk to Ro and be like, I'm gonna fucking need you to step into this conversation. Cause I think, yeah, you're needed.
While you're doing that, what
Okay,
the others do?
Fyrn's just gonna keep, asking questions. You say that you were in charge of monitoring eons ago. You were in charge of keeping things in order so that other elements could not slip in and enter the lands of Alma. Was that your role?
Partially, perhaps you could call it that. The stability or partitioning of the planes, of the elemental planes, does keep the material plane stable. But perhaps, and he looks, and you can't see his face, obviously, but his eyes kind of narrow in a way that he seems like he's remembering things that maybe he didn't remember initially. I did have a dream once. Or perhaps a machination, as you might call it, or a plan. My plan, Fyrn, as you said, that I've followed you all since you were young, as pawns in. But no, I did not have a plan to manipulate you. I had a plan of bringing it all together. The petitioning of the elemental plane seemed unnecessary. If their superimposition creates the material plane, then why not just fuse it all together? Fuse it together so a deity, a spirit, whatever you want to call me, can't on a whim destroy your world. I had a conversation with Bruce about this in the north. About your wayward one. And what he would call parasite gods. Why must Ardun suffer every few centuries because of some bored deity? As you can see,
What could you imagine what the world would look like if all the planes were brought together? Even if the gods were inclined to not destroy us, would it make Alma's lives better or worse? It's impossible to say.
it certainly produces innumerable questions of worth. not something I'm idly suggesting or idly pursuing. The timeline of a spirit, as you would call us, is much longer than that of an Ulma. I don't fully know what I am anymore, or what I will become the longer I'm here. I certainly don't pursue the grandeur of the Wayward One's folly. But this is not necessarily relevant to the threat at hand. Like I said, Lacuna seeks some sort of unity, not dissimilar to this, but through different means. Part of that unity would require, in the haste of his plan or their plan, the powers of the Modron over lesser spirits. Modron, not a hostile creatures. They don't seek conquest. They don't seek riches or power. They seek what they perceive as balance. So, the predicted outcome of spirits like me is that they would pull the levers of the cosmos to readjust. Devils are too powerful, or Iluvania is too powerful, or this spirit is too weak. It is imbalanced in their calculus, which I don't pretend to understand.
But we've learned that Halcyon, although corrupted by devils, is using technology to manipulate the elements to their whims, such as those flying ships and the electrical, machinery in Hyven. Could it be that they're trying to use the technology of Modron as well?
If it exists there, I don't see why they wouldn't. But the corruption of Halcyon is, in essence, a deity fleeing Lacuna's reorganization. Lacuna is like a wave crossing the cosmos. If you interact with it, and it is substantial power, it can send you crashing to the material plane, breaking your body and your power.
Won't Lacuna come here too to
Eventually.
rearrange? So Encrenache is just fleeing in their inevitable fate.
Correct.
And we will meet the fate of Lacuna as well.
Unless there
It's
is a
not one
means of
fucking
stopping
thing.
it.
It's something else.
How the
With both
fuck do we
Septimus
stop
and
that?
Bruce gone, how the fuck are we gonna figure this out?
We're gonna fucking have to.
I'm sick of all this city politicking and trying to get the people together on our side. The people of Hyven deserve better than what they've gotten, and we certainly, although powerful, can't give them everything. I think that this problem is above them, and we should take action to find new allies, new powers to help defeat it. If that means going to another plane or taking the fight to wherever Lacuna is, I'm all for it.
Right? Our plan was always to make Hyven our bastion, our home base for that conflict. right? That's what we've been working towards this whole time.
But Hyven is a wonderful city to live in, but I can't... Have you seen what's happened to it under our watch? Despite our efforts, it's been half destroyed. And we haven't even fought the true enemy yet. Do you really expect us to be able to hold this off when the day comes that another element, such as Encrenash or even Lacuna itself, comes to the material plane?
I don't know where else to go, Fyrn. This is our home now. These people are our allies, for better or for worse. I understand where you're coming from. But I don't know what else to do or where else to go. This is where we've ended up, so this is where we'll build our bastion.
We have ourselves. Sigil, you trust us to tell us all this, and I've always respected your opinion, and we've done everything we can to help you these last couple of months, but we are at a loss as you are. Well, what could you... Is there anything that you could think of that might help us in our plight? Any way that we can maybe seal off our plane, or assimilate it in a way, bring more allies to this plane that might be able to fight off Lacuna? You know of much of other spirits and powerful entities. Perhaps you can get us in touch with others that might have a similar, cause as us?
Yeah, don't you have some ordaining friends or some bullshit you can call up? Come on, where's the group text?
Don't know what a text is, but it sounds like a very powerful sort of magic.
Where's the group sending?
Yeah.
Sigil would look to you as you two say this and say, I have been researching a means for me to take back some of my abilities. But ordaining spirits like the Modron are not bound by the same weaves of time. Doesn't mean that they can manipulate things and just appear. But their relationship is different. They are unbound. The means of stopping Lacuna, I believe, is in that mystery. Stopping it before it can become that manifestation upon this plane.
Just to clarify, you mean the March of the Modrons?
In the sense that Lacuna is manipulating the march of the Modrons to gain the power he needs. Bruce saw an army being formed in the Astral Sea from the scraps of realities. And it seemed to be using the powers of the Modron. Or at least, as you witnessed, the corruption of a Modron. Modron are singular entities. They don't even have a sense of self. They're a unity, like what Lacuna seeks of all things. But the Modron you met, the Monodrone, was scared. Scared for its own well-being. It was not any longer following its nature. In that sense, if the Modron March is happening, those Modron will appear across this entire planet. And if Lacuna can manipulate them individually each, he will eventually not even need to build an army. There will be one here.
How might, hypothetically, opening a very hypothetical Hellgate, would that exacerbate the situation?
What?
Or make it better? Just no reason.
I mean, it entirely depends on what you're doing with an open Hellgate.
Why? Is this... Did Ro ask you to do this? You're muted, Fyrn.
Who else would ask her to do this?
I have to hold up my end of the bargain. I'm just trying to make it safe, I suppose.
So Ro wants you to open up a Hellgate. And that seems like a perfectly good thing for you to do.
What I think, and I'm waiting for him to text me back, as it were. What I think...
What's a text?
Didn't we just close one of those?
I don't think it's the same thing. But the seat at the table, that's what he was talking about. He wanted that seat. Right? And the way to get there, he wants to leave the Hells, to come here, to get there. But we can't get there, as Sigil has found. Right?
Well, this is interesting because manifestations taking seats, so to speak. Perhaps we should distance ourselves from that metaphor. To take on the manifestation often occurs on the material plane because it requires Olma. It requires Olma to believe, I suppose, is the best way to say it.
Okay.
Your minds, and you see him shaking his hands in the sense of like a college professor trying to explain quantum mechanics to a kindergartner.
Not sure I've ever seen that, but go on.
It's a metaphor.
The table!
I
get it now.
You could see he's like in his face. He's like, how much cosmic lore do I want to try to explain to the dumbest three members of Iron and Mana?
A little bit of drool has collected at Jacques' corner of the map.
You're just staring at him with like how a dog would stare at somebody if they had a piece of cheese hanging out.
The funny thing is, Septimus isn't even smart.
That's true. He's just wise.
He's not smart.
Excuse you.
Hey, I got a headband of intellect on right now and set my intelligence pretty high.
Oh, you have it on?
Yep. I swapped it. Well, I haven't, but yeah.
It's amazing. You have the thing of intellect, and I had the belt of giant strength.
Yeah.
I just really want Fyrn to put the headband of intellect on and then just start like talking very gentlemanly. And be like, yes, of course, manifestations. I know all about those.
While he holds up a teacup with his toes.
There's a complicated relationship between Olma and Anima. The Olma spark within you, or your souls, are themselves a building block of the cosmos. They form from the well of creation another ordning spirit known as the Mother. And many things form from that. Without your Olma spark, there are no gods. I would just simply be the elements. Without the whispers Gods don't create Orma. Orma create gods. Even something
The
is...
belief in something is more powerful than the thing itself.
Exactly. It's why these spirits you worship become these frozen in amber and incapable of moving too much because there's too much contradiction. They come to the material plane to have a solid sense of self. That's why Iluvania can do so much, because she was reborn here. It's why her moons are in the sky.
So Ro seems to be trying to do what you have done. Come to the material plane and forsake his, spiritual duties as a god worshipped by Alma.
Devils work differently. Ro, from my understanding, through my own theories and what you've told me, is a god fledgling in a way.
He's a didact.
But he's a didact of the hells. The hells, they're not ordning spirits in the hells. The hells are the nightmare of Alma. They formed from your fears over the eons of your existence. And they barter in souls because they are not deities that are given souls through worship. They cannot acquire souls through the afterlife. They can only acquire them through deals.
So even if Ro gets to the plane, he can't get that manifestation unless Allmen believe in him as that ordering spirit, correct?
Correct, which can take eons.
So he's running a fool's errand, a gambit that there's no likelihood.
He looks at Saskia as you're saying this, and he says, there's a shortcut. A entity can kill a current manifestation to absorb its power and the Alma belief.
But you just said you're no longer the manifestation. There is no manifestation of the elements. So who would he kill? I mean, at this point, the old man in the sky has probably more of a chance at being the manifestation than anyone else. He's the one that people blame for the storm, right?
Yes.
I will think harder in my brain. Get your ass over here.
Maybe you should cast that spell of yours that lets you commune with your patron.
Stop playing my character.
Then he has to answer.
Yeah, that is true. He might not want to be part of this awkward conversation of his own free will.
Well, it is a good thing that I have a use of it, because I am fresh out of spell slots.
You say that if a entity were to defeat or steal the power from one of these ordering spirits, then they themselves would become one. And you've spoken also of Alma being able to obtain this power, presumably in their lifetimes. How did they do it? Do you know of any specific examples?
It's not an Alma, but the Wayward One did defeat the manifestation of the Shadowfell.
That's nice. Is
The Wayward
this
One-
well known amongst the scholars?
No. It's known by Curon. Curon knew that. I think actually that might not be
Of course
true.
he did.
That might not be true actually.
What
I
didn't
don't
Kieran
think
know?
that's true.
So you,
Wait.
well, maybe this might just be something I told some of you at some point, but
After Lord Juice.
yeah, the Wayward One stopped his deal with the Shadowfell after he found the Shadowfell and killed the manifestation and just took control of the.
Wait, but the Scathe Fulum, right? Dreadlords
Yeah.
of the Shadowfell. But I
Mhm.
always assume that there might be other Dreadlords.
Correct.
But above them is a manifestation
Yeah.
that we have never heard about before, to my
Correct.
knowledge.
Correct.
Cool. Okay, cool. I never get the Lord Juice, Sean. I always get the, hey guys, I'm just happy to be here, Sean.
That's
Which
good.
is
That's
great,
because
and I love that, Sean.
that's because we're hanging out at like 1 p.m. on a Sunday playing D&D.
Yeah.
And I was the
yeah.
designated
I guess I
driver
should
at New Year's Eve. That was your
And
opportunity.
I guess, yeah, I guess I should be happy that during my D&D campaign, you aren't being like, well, in my world, this is how it works.
After drinking 6 beers in an hour and being like, well, whatever you just said reminded me of a bit of lore I can share with you.
Sean, what am I going to steal to use in my world?
Stefan's world is just bizarro. It's like Schmaradoon.
And literally every name is the same. It just starts with SM. Shmaradoon.
Or ST, Staradoon, because Stefan.
Oh, yeah.
Man, how is Hadric doing? Anyways.
Stay
He's
Right.
blind.
So if Ro is not answering my mental
He's
get
not.
your ass over here. Great. I shall drag his ass here.
Okay.
By contacting other plan. By contacting my patron. With this
Can he
one
even-
use.
Can you contact him in this demi-plane that we're in right now?
We're about to find out.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It
mean,
should
you would
work.
because it's just
There's no
contacting
reason
another
it wouldn't.
plane. Yeah.
If anything, you would need that to like talk to anyone on the material plane.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah, I guess that would be true. All right, contact.
Let's get around
other
the whole
plane.
sending issue and just contact other a
uh,
higher level spell.
all right, you get 5 questions.
5 questions. I will say this to the other 3 that are there. Right, I get 5 questions. There's one I'm going to ask him, but the other 4 are up for grabs. So, let me hear it.
Why are you such a piece of shit?
Well, it's I could ask them that when I don't have to use this.
How? How can you have the audacity to think that you deserve to be the manifestation of the elements?
All right, Fyrn, you got any ideas?
How about, do you have a plan, or are we just fucking about here?
Okay. You know
Ask
what?
him why his dick's so fucking small. Jacques holds his hand up.
You know what?
High fives.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Shut the fuck up. First question.
Sorry, just
It's okay. First question. These don't have to be yes or no, right?
the only criteria is that the response
Mm-hmm.
can only be one word.
If a one-word answer would be misleading, the DM might instead offer a short phrase as an answer.
All right, then 3 to 5 words, but only if it's misleading.
Bro,
Okay.
misleading? Never.
Right?
Yeah, honestly, he just might as well just talk to you because everything he says is misleading.
Right. All right. So, first question. Right, fucker. Got a question. Couple of questions for you. Are you trying to kill Sigil to take his power for yourself?
You would get a couple words. Only if I have to.
Right. Who are you trying to kill then?
Sybogen.
Saskia will just
see that coming.
Saskia will let out the audible like, "What the fuck?"
What'd he say?
Does he have to be truthful in these questions?
I don't know. Oh, okay. So, hear me out. This is one question. You want me to open a Hellgate for you to come here so that you can assume you can take this fucking shortcut that we just learned about to this other plane so that you can gain power from the governor, apparently, who's that's brand new news, a manifestation.
It's a bit of a paragraph going on here.
It's still one question. I haven't reached the question mark. Just yes or no, is that your plan?
No.
Well, then what the fuck is it?
Vengeance.
Against who?
Sybogen.
Fucker. Okay. What did he do to you? As the spell fades. All right.
So wait, sorry. Who did Rose say he's going to kill?
I think Shannon just figured out. I'm messaging you, Mike.
You're remembering
apparently,
something?
I am remembering something.
You are,
yes.
remember? You'd be the only person that would really catch it.
I think I am. Yes. Okay.
All right.
Be so cool if I'm right. Anyway.
My notes. Hold up.
No, this is literally something that you two would not be able to discern. This is a home campaign thing with the backstory of Ro as a character.
Yeah.
It always rolls back to the home campaign.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
don't worry. Campaign 3 will be far enough removed that I'll no longer have campaign 1 home campaign references.
I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah,
it's pretty impossible while the Harbinger is still like a baddie out there.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, guys, Sybogen's a manifestation.
What?
Did I fucking stutter? Sybogen is a manifestation.
You did stutter a little bit, but no, I mean, can you please elaborate on that? Manifestation
really.
of what?
Yes, the governor. I didn't think to ask that. Where the fuck was that question? I asked you what I should ask him, and you were like, why is your dick so small?
We can't hear what he's saying.
I didn't realize that Sybogen was going to be involved here. What the fuck does the governor?
You could have fucking said if you figured out who. You could have. This is why we're not the smart ones.
That's not true. I'm very smart. Sometimes.
Sigil, did you know about this? Or have you ever met Sybogen?
I'm gonna roll for that to see him like access his memories, because again, like the insinuation is that in his current form, he does not have omnipotent knowledge of all of his memories.
Yeah, but even recently, Sybogen.
Oh no! I'm rolling to see if you get more than just like his knowledge of Sybogen as he is right now. No, he obviously knows who Sybogen is.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Governor, I had thought I had only recently come to know him. But I do have a memory of meeting this Oma far too long ago for his own lifespan. But that wouldn't make him a competitor for my seat, since I only lost my seat over a year ago. There is something amiss with the governor. I've met him in a different Aldhalor. Similar. I'm gonna roll one more roll.
Perhaps he's not a spirit, but a demon. A devil of some sort. He seems to have allied himself with Hyven, or Halcyon.
He actually distinctly, well, I guess he has. He has
Distinctly
a
what?
handshake agreement.
He
He has aligned with them, but he also is definitely not working with Encronosh.
Yeah, because otherwise, why the hell would he not be involved in all of it? And why would
Devils are selfish.
why would what's his name, Emil, like work with you? But
Although he seemed pretty, considerate and, good when we met him. He didn't seem devilish then.
there are infinite means of an Ulma. Well, I shouldn't say infinite, maybe outside of this plane. But there are many means of an Ulma elongating their life beyond their natural lifespan. It doesn't mean that they're trying to become a manifestation. Although, who knows? Honestly, it's rare for there to be a rapid spot for manifestation. Most gods wither away and are replaced. It's somewhat of a race, one could say sometimes. There may be multiple parties pursuing this manifestation besides Ro. It might be a point of research I can do, and maybe we can together reclaim my manifestation.
I'll be honest, I'd rather see you at the seat instead of someone,
Jacquet says, looking over at Saskia.
Who says that Sigil even wants his seat back? If anything, we should...
Did you not just hear the words he said? He literally just said that he can work to get his seat back.
Fyrn is not wrong. I said earlier that I don't even know if I want the seat, but that is not what Iron and Mana has made me realize that perhaps I am duty-bound to take my seat back. That it is better for Ulma than my own creature comforts of what my plan was before this, which was to stay here till I fade away. Fade into Aridun. There's a somberness to that statement. Like, perhaps Sigil was just resigning himself to disappearing forever over time.
Fyrn puts a hand on Sigil's shoulder, gently, and says, if that is... We respect your decision to do what is right for this plane. I know that you care for the people here and the health of the world, and this... I know we both understand that the Lacuna threat needs to be dealt with somehow, and you gaining your power back would definitely be an aid to this. But if that is not what you wish to do, if your true passion, if your true desire is to just let all those things go away and live your life as you are now, we can find another way.
Yeah,
I don't know. Speak for yourself, Fyrn. And at this, like, Jacques has been, like, still, like, over by the table, like, using Mage Hand to mix himself a little tea and, like, you know, just drinking. And he finally, like, puts down the teacup and he goes, this whole time, you could have stepped in. You could have done something. The Aradunai, the Ascendancy, worship, for all intents and purposes, you. You could have stopped them. All the death they've told out, the suffering in Hyven. Because what? You want to step away from it all? You lost your powers. Oh, boo-hoo, the ordering spirit. I'm so sorry. No, you do have a responsibility to the people of Aradun. And you just wanted to walk away? That's not cool, man. What, are you saying? Is the storm potentially because of you two not being there? Could you have stopped that? The gods or deities or ordering spirits, you need to be held accountable. And just because some of you don't think that we matter, and yeah, maybe Alma have inflated egos. It's true, but we're nothing like you fuckers. Sorry, I don't mean to generalize and lump you in with the other ordering spirits that don't
exactly what
deign.
you're doing.
Yeah,
Sigil,
well, all right,
Sigil,
maybe I am a little.
Sigil sits down at his desk as I just imagine while you were doing this diatribe, Jacques, that you were stirring your tea and then you took the spoon out and just were really aggressively gesturing the spoon at him.
I also realized that we have since moved to his, I'm going to call it vault.
I'm going to say
in his
you've had the
demi-plane.
tea with you the whole time.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect.
You finally finished stirring your tea actually just now.
Finally, at that perfect.
I also
temperature.
thank you for reminding me because he can't sit at his desk.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it. I was like, wait a minute, we're not there
Yeah.
anymore.
He sits on a rock, and he looks to the chamber behind him during this whole conversation where there's that crown that you saw, that masked crown. And he sighs at Jacquette's statement here, and sitting like elbows on his knees, hand on the mask as if he's holding it to his forehead. He sighs and says, "You are not wrong, Jacquette.
No shit.
There's a fledgling wayward one in you yet, it sounds. I'm joking."
At this, like Jacques kind of like strains his back and then thinks about it. And he's like, I don't know how I like that.
He reaches up, or he clasps the mask and says, "The storm is my fault. And he pulls the mask off.
Is he beautiful beneath?
Yeah, it's actually just his eyes are just really singed. He's a beautiful man underneath. No, he pulls the mask off and he looks up to you all, and you can see he does have a incredibly disfigured face. Like his nose is completely missing. He honestly kind of looks like a ghoul from Fallout, but with like more deep carves and gnarled scars across his face that look like somebody who has experienced all kinds of damage at once. You know, like bludgeoning, slashing, piercing, force, fire damage, cold damage all at once. Like his nose is missing, but like there's also a deep gash that comes down to his mouth, making it hard for him to open his mouth much larger than a whisper, hence why he talks so softly. And there's just like veins of like these dark red veins, like blood struggling to get through to the flesh. He does not look like a god in any means. This looks like someone who survived a horrific attack. And as he says, "The storm is my fault," he looks at you with this mangled face. "I am the storm. When Lacuna cast me down from the cosmos, it created an elemental storm so powerful in this region. And I had to bear witness to the destruction of my own defeat and the countless deaths. And I thought myself not fit to protect Aradun.
Oh,
And-
wait, no.
And
You just said-
let me finish until I met you. In the last month, several months since the North, I agree with you, Jacquet. I have failed. And I need to take that responsibility back.
Right, but the storm, if what you said is true, is not your fault. It's Lacuna's fault. Everything keeps coming back to that damned spirit. That's the enemy. That's what's causing Encronash to do this. That's what's causing you to fall from your place at the fucking table. At the end, it all circles back to Lacuna. And it just further cements that is where we need to focus our efforts. If we can take down Lacuna, if we can stop his corruption of the Modrons, the march, the rearranging, the cosmos. I mean, Encronash will be fucking a piece of cake after that.
Sigil, I'm glad you've made this decision and that you're on our side. But can you really, if you had your powers back, you think you can do something about Lacuna to stop this invasion?
I would certainly have a greater chance of defending this plane of existence. It would require us to find the competitors for the manifestation. And stopping their journey doesn't mean you have to kill them. It means you need to stop their pursuit. End their desire to become an ordaining spirit. And then, once my power is no longer petitioned to competitors and suitors, he looks back at the crown in the chamber. I can take my seat.
It's just easy to think of it that. It's just easy to think of it that way. So then that means not opening the Hellgate.
Well, at least not if you open the Hellgate. If he just wants to kill Saipajin, that's fine. But I mean, no, every life is sacred.
No, but wouldn't killing Saipajin give him the power that you need?
If Saipajin is, as your theory suggests, is seeking manifestation.
Well, that is assuming he told me the truth, which 50-50.
It's also assuming that that's the reason Saipajin is a target of his. Vengeance doesn't sound like seeking power.
No, that's true. That's true.
I think there's a lot to think about and a lot to look into. I can begin using what power I've gained from the North to search for these competitors.
So you did keep the power.
Not by... Yes.
I knew it.
Only because
You're evil.
it's an evil dead god.
All right, guys, let's kill another god.
Yeah. Roll initiative.
Yes, you should do what you can to give us more information. I believe that Hyven is in dear need of our assistance to get things back to normal. But this is the most important thing. Maybe when the governor comes into town, we can perhaps gain some more information about the planes and what's been plaguing them from someone, of a higher status in government. He might know more about what's going on as well.
But will he want to help us? That's the question you should be asking.
It is going to be difficult, but we had a good standing in the past, and our friend, what's his name? Starts with an A. Emil. Emil can put in a good. Well, not in my notes. Maybe Emil could put in a good word for us, considering all we've done.
Maybe.
Well, you have to ask yourself if Emil is a true ally or an ally of convenience.
I wasn't going to start that conversation right now, but yeah.
I can take any ally I can get at this moment. Hyven needs structure, and we can't provide that with what we have right now.
All NPCs have exhaustion.
All enemies have exhaustion. Sigil puts the mask back on.
Missed my chance.
Clayton messaged to be like, I dare to put the mask on.
Oh, dear.
I don't think the mask would do anything, but that crown.
That's what I was saying. The big crowny mask, not the one that
Yeah,
he
has the
wears
crown
on
been
a
talked
regular
about
day.
at all during this? Of what it is? Did I miss that or no?
Sigil was
No,
looking
he
at it when he said the
insinuated
return
that
is
there's an insinuation that once the timing is correct, he can don the crown to potentially retake his seat at the table.
Down at the chair at the table.
Suddenly, the plinth just becomes a seat with a table. But if you recall from the last time he meditated by the crown, when he reached for it, his body began to disintegrate, meaning he's not powerful enough to don the crown, essentially. Because the way you can think of it is that when in this unique situation that's different, so Ilivania died, which means that a manifestation was going to grow organically from the universe that was Astraeus. In this situation, it's more like the power has been fragmented and spread through the world. So multiple manifestations could take up that role and begin seeking power. Hence this idea of like, if we find them and you defeat them or convince them to relinquish their pursuits and power, it will unify with him, and he can take the crown and replace himself as the manifestation of the elemental planes. And then he'll destroy the world because he's obviously working with the Ascendancy.
Wouldn't want it any other way.
I already did that last campaign. Have you searched the world for pieces to try to empower a bad guy?
Yeah, so do it again.
It was a pretty cool session.
Yeah, worked well. Really pulled the rug out from under me. Made me question everything I knew.
That was literally my favorite. I think it's my favorite session. Actually, probably my favorite is that one and the one like I think a couple before where you learned that Queen Ayla got the exact same prophecy that you got.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
I like Lala.
Cut to the gates.
I like Lala.
of Hyven.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lone wanderer walking into the city.
Yes.
Hey guys, it's me.
I am going to massage time a little bit because there's not enough for you guys to have done to reach the time that Septimus is returning.
We were in a demi-plane. Time moves differently. Boom.
That's how I'm massaging it. Yes, exactly. You guys leave the demi plane and it's nighttime. But Mike is not wrong. Out front of Hyven, there is a lone figure appearing. We're gonna take a short break and jump into that when we get back.
Who could it be? Is it Bruce?
It's me, Mario.
It's probably Bruce.
Santa.
It's Cy Podgen. All right, we'll be back in a couple minutes. See you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. So our heroes just questioned Sigil for quite a while to learn more about him with some convoluted lore from a deity-esque figure.
Manifestation.
Manifestation is a more appropriate term in my world.
Ordaining spirit. If you
Ordaining spirit in the cosmic definitions. All
They all have
call them
seats at the
gods.
table.
There's a big table. Somewhat there's a gravy ladle, a gravy boat with like a big like pork roast. And they're all sitting there holding hands, waiting to say grace for Sigil to arrive.
That's why the world has been in such chaos. Is the gods are not doing anything until Sigil gets back to Thanksgiving.
But who do the gods say grace to?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Sean.
Machine
Sean.
Boy.
It's Sean. No, it's Sean.
Yeah.
No, they say it to the well of creation, the mother. Come on,
Technically,
weren't you
if
listening?
there is any original deity that others would worship, it would be the mother. And her little guy, Ashk. Anyway.
No, it'd be. Damn it.
What about the god drakes? Remember them?
What's your dog's name?
That's right, Cooper. Cooper is the one
it's
true
Freddy
god.
Cooper.
Yeah. The god drakes are almost all.
Anyway,
The god drakes are all dead. Anyway. Oh, other than
What
Glowmoon.
happened to Glowmoon?
No, Glowmoon's alive. Anyway. Let's get back into it. Septimus. You arrive to Hyben. And you can see that the front gates, where that old gatehouse is that doesn't have an actual gate, the guards seem to have repurposed and reconstructed the gate that was created by the Chroma Fist, where they were charging tolls. And they are keeping refugees from coming in, basically. Basically, you hear like some arguing where these guards are saying, like, we aren't letting anyone back into the city yet. We are still securing certain dangerous parts of the city. People are yelling, saying, like, my mother's in there, my siblings are in there, I need to go in there, I need to see if they're alive. And the guards are just trying to keep everyone away from the gates.
To getting into the city.
Yeah, they're trying to keep people from coming back into the city right now.
The gates are locked.
Mhm.
Closed.
And it's a simple gate, like before when you first got
Yeah,
here.
I got you.
It's just the wood is not like a gate. The gatehouse isn't repaired with big double doors or anything.
Fine.
So what you're
Septimus
looking
will
at
kinda weave
is
his way through.
yeah, and it's probably like
the crowd.
100 people maybe who are in the crowd. And you can slowly weave your way. People are moving at your presence because they are immediately scared of you because you're surrounded by cinders of flame. Even to the point when those cinders, like, you actually kind of like, as you're like moving with your staff slowly in that, somewhat weakened state, even more so because we took your belt of giant strength away. Like these cinders still like touch people's skin and they go like, as like the hair burns and it leaves a little singe mark. But they all kind of float and and the cinders even kind of like float to your step. Like if you like stumble a little bit, the cinders all kind of whoosh down and up with you.
Am I crazy of thinking of Kalthus Sunstrider a little bit?
They're not that big compared to you. They're more they're smaller. Yeah, and there's a lot of them. Like it's not like he has those 3 floating around his head that are like the size of like a softball. These are really tiny. Like I said before, they're like when you look at a fire and you see those little pieces coming off of the fire.
Mm-hmm. Making his way and having the aura make it a little easier for people to clear a path. He'll walk right up to whatever the first guard he sees and just say, I need you to let me into the city.
Give me an intimidation check. Like like a guy shows up with floating cinders around him made of 99% metal.
18.
You see the guards had set up like a line. Like you saw, there are several with shields. They have their spears up, but they're not down. They're just kind of like ready to like push people back. And this guard was standing in front, his hand on the pommel of his blade, his shield in the other arm. And he looks at you and he's about to be like, who the fuck are you? And then like, I imagine it's like you say that and like you lean your head up and they can see the blue eyes and the metal parts of your neck. And he kind of like drops his arm and his shield falls out of his hand and bounces on the mud. Septimus?
This city is still in danger. I must return to my temple and regain my strength.
And like there's that look of recognition because the guards all know you guys because through Fyrn and through your activities in the Admiralty Court. And he's kind of, his look of like recognition turns to fear. Let him through. You hear the crowd starts yelling though, and they say let him through. People are pissed off. And the guards all move forward in a line around you, and you pass through as, you know, this little squire, like very like frightened, like goes and like opens the gates, and they, and you can step into Ivan.
And you'll do so without any other remarks.
Where do you head first?
To the temple.
Okay. I'll say while he's heading to the temple, the rest of you.
Which I guess to clarify.
Mm-hmm.
Sal stayed back at the temple, right?
Yes. Sal is kind of like triangulating between helping the city out a little bit, going to the Gloveless Cat if there's a need for him, but most of the time, if there's not a need for him, he is just in the temple.
And I guess the real answer would be no. Septimus's affinity, and I'm sure he has a connection to Sal. I'll go to wherever Sal is.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say at this point, because Sal didn't like go with the party to do anything particular, he would be at the temple. The rest of you are, I imagine, heading to the Gloveless Cat after meeting with Sigil.
That's where Jacquette's going.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Fyrn would probably spend some time at his, what do you call it? Fortress, but with, you know, Gloveless Cat is on the way.
Yeah.
So probably stop by for a drink or whatever, if you know, they want to talk.
Absolutely. Okay. Septimus, your paths would not cross in this journey. I rolled for it because I want. You all would get to the Gloveless Cat before Septimus, because it's way longer to get to the temple than to get from the Admiralty Court to the Gloveless Cat. So we'll say all of you are there, debriefing a little bit, maybe having a drink. Septimus, you wander through these streets, and they are, like I've said before, dead. There's a few lights on in a few houses because a few people never fled, but there's probably like a single-digit percentage of the population actually in the city. And you wander through, and eventually you find yourself stepping into the temple district. Again, eerily quiet, because the leaders of the temples would have escorted their flocks out of the city. The only temple with any like torches lit is the besides yours, because Hal stayed behind, would be those beyond those before, the temple to dead gods and forgotten gods. But you can step up to your temple.
I would. Just single focus on getting there. You just open the door and walk right in.
Mm-hmm. As you approach it, the cinders would automatically dance to the unlit torches and light them in the blue flames. And you would step into that main hall with the different pews and the altar where they had set your mechanical parts. And immediately standing up from one of those pews would be Sal, who would...
I felt...
Go ahead. Yeah, you go.
So, I still felt your presence. I had knew you survived. How about the others?
He would look at you, and there would be a slow nod of yes. And then he would run up to you and hug you. Almost more affection than you probably possess right now.
very Wednesday-esque, where it's like arms at his sides, he's kind of taking it in and waiting for him to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd be able to at this point. He speaks in a mechanical language, correct?
Yes.
Seeing that he just nodded to me, I'll repeat.
001.
I'll repeat what I said to him in that language.
He would respond in that language, which again kind of sounds similar to the noise of Machina when you were in the belly of that temple or that prison. How is this possible?
It's Machina's will. I've seen it. But it is in a docile, neutered state. Regrettably, it took other life force for me to learn. But there's still work to be done.
Sal kind of looks across you and across the cinders following you. I heard it. I heard the call. And I also sensed your return.
Looking at him curiously. What did that feel like?
Home. But I thought we weren't meant for our work to cost lives. And you sense, because you are very in tune with Sal's thoughts and feelings in this form, and you're sensing a mingling of a little bit of fear and doubt. You know, compared to other machina you've interacted with that are more wild, or like the governor's machina, this sense is similar to how you felt with the Alma souls captured in the heap golems. You can there's real emotion in Sal. He's not an automaton.
The soul of Alma are but fragment. What is life taken if not returning to whole being? Their lives live on through Machina and through me.
And you feel that doubt and fear satisfied, but not gone, as Sal would say to you, I'm glad you're back.
A momentary smirk on Septimus's face as he'll admit, it's good to see you. But then going back, where are the others? Did they all make it?
They are most likely in the Gloveless Cat. I know they went to the academy to speak with Sigil today. The Widow's Ward is gone. The demi-plane collapsed and took it with it. I've been working with Fyrn to secure the area. What would you have me do, Septimus?
Continue as you were. But no. Damn it. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
What's the devil? The Anchornosh. Anchornosh.
There you go.
Okay. Sorry. Continue as you were. But just know Anchornosh is only small game. I need to find Lakina. That is priority.
Yes.
Kind of just scanning and looking around the room. It's completely empty.
Yeah, right now it is.
What about Hal? Has he lost faith?
No. He comes here during the day and prays to Machina for your return. He put his faith in iron and mana to find you and bring you back.
Then his prayers have been answered. I'll seek him out on the morrow. For now, I think it's best if I rejoin the group.
Then to the gloveless cat.
Guess I'll take that nod and leave the temple and head there.
The rest of you at the gloveless cat would be having a drink, maybe thinking how crazy everything Sigil just said was.
Fyrn would be trying to get a short rest, maybe identify the bone whip item that he found ages ago.
It was like 4 sessions ago.
Like 2 days ago.
4 sessions is like months.
It's a month.
We took some time off though.
That's true. I guess it's 2, maybe a month and a half. Yeah. So I mean, this is not like some artifact or legendary weapon. It is. I can give you more details next session, but it's basically a magical whip with some devilish qualities to it, some pluses to it. It has the ability to command imps, specifically. That's like its main feature, other than just being like a better whip than a normal whip, is that it can dominate imps and has some effects on demons and devils, fiends, if you will.
I also would like to take a short rest, and I also would like to not attune to the Pearl of Power, and I'd like to attune to that Shadow Ring.
Okay. No problem. I'll say everyone can take a short rest. And at the end of completing that short rest, while you're looking at a whip and you're looking at a ring or a spell focus, and some drinks are being poured, eventually there's a knock at the door.
Jacques, like holding like a fancy drink that Anders made, is just going, I'm just saying, I heard that gold dragons grant wishes, so if we just find one of those. And he goes and opens the door.
I think you're full of shit. I'll drink one of the fancy drinks too.
Open the door.
Yeah, like as she's saying, I think you're full of shit, you open the door and you look and you are taken aback by the visage of Septimus.
Yeah, he's, and the glass falls to the floor.
What is it? Who is it? What's wrong? What's the matter? Are we fighting? Is it bad?
Septimus.
What?
Is that you?
What? I push Fyrn out of the way as I go stumbling after Jacques to the door.
I hope I'm still welcome here.
Please. Jacques does like a little bow and gestures into the tavern.
And as he does that and steps aside, Saskia launches herself at you and gives you a big hug. What the fuck? We literally just fucking buried you. What the fuck are you doing back here?
Nobody to bury.
Fate has returned me to this world.
It is still you, right? I'm a little drunk, so I'm like when I get down, I like put my hands on your face. And I'm like, because you're still got on my face, right?
There's machine creeping over his jaw and up the sides of his head.
That was there before, but so I'll still be like, that is you, right? You're still there and here. I'll knock on your chest.
You travel to Aldhalor to find your true self, and into the pact with Ro, dispatched of his spawn. Yes, it is still me.
I'll give you another hug.
This son of a bitch really can't be killed, huh? I think Fyrn, like, once she's done hugging you, will, like, actually just, like, give you a punch in the gut, like, jokingly.
Thunk.
just to like, feel, like, the metal. Yeah, like, he's just checking to see if you're, like, a real person, but, like, you know, in a way that, like, it might actually deal, like, a small amount of damage to you, but, like, you know, he'd stop after one.
Stop after one.
I'm sure you all have.
Excuse
me. Many questions.
But first, Jacques kind of walks up to you and holds out a hand. Feel I should say sorry? I know it was Enkrenash's influence that pushed me to it, but it was my hand. It was, in a way, my decision to use the baleful talon. But I'm glad you're back.
That must have not been easy for you. Or it's still not easy.
To say sorry? Yeah.
To take a life of a...
Yeah. But you're back, so all my feelings don't matter because my actions had no real consequences. Anders, another drink, please.
On the contrary, your actions have opened my eyes.
Oh, fuck, another 2 drinks.
Yeah, please don't give him more reasons to be arrogant, Septimus. You still drink, right? Water? Milk?
No. I'm fine, as of right. I don't have... My desire for thirst has weirdly been satiated.
You tried it yet?
I suppose not. But looking down at his entire self, it's like, I don't necessarily see the point.
Wait, Jacques, do you have any of that, please, the jam that he likes, the voidberry jam? Do you got any of that?
No, sorry. I don't deal with the, A. What's the A stand for?
Avenir.
I don't deal with Avenirian trade goods out of principle. I love those spices, but damn those fuckers.
Yeah, Septimus, though, even at the mention of the Avenirian Voidberry Jam, which was like your one joy, I think, before this, zero desire.
Yeah.
But you said that your eyes were open? What the fuck did you see on the other side?
Why, Machina, of course. In its truest form. Not what I had initially pictured. But clearly still powerful. Enough to manifest me back on the physical plane.
Where'd you come back? The temple?
Septimus looking a little puzzled himself. While he looks to the side and be like, I would have thought of so as well. But no, my farm, specifically atop the hill where we once fought Lacuna, or the Moana drone controlled by Lacuna.
That's where that weird door was, right?
Precisely. A curiosity that I almost engaged with immediately. However, given the serious nature of the hells coming to the plains, I thought I might as well run it back with you first, before exploring it myself.
Listen, we're very, very grateful to have you back. Can I get you anything at all? Oil, maybe? Some metal bits? I don't want to be insensitive, but I am making a joke, so you can laugh. It's okay.
I've got a shocking grasp.
See, that was much better. That was much better. I can admit that.
No, I think I honestly just want to rest for a second. As he goes and just like sits down in whatever the nearest chair or whatever is. Not having the giant's belt anymore, being resurrected, trudging along for a couple days from the farm. Even being machine, he still has that exhaustion to him.
And Jacquet sits opposite from him, like really, steepled fingers, leaning forward, observing him. And I would like to use my insightful manipulator feature. And mechanically, it's like you can learn whether you're equal, superior, inferior, any two abilities in Wiz, Charisma, or Class. But there's also a little option at the DM's option. You may also realize, a piece of the creature's history or one of its personality traits, if it has any. And maybe this is just an insight check, that's larger with the insightful manipulator. But Jacquet is trying to understand what the fuck is going on here. Because Jacquet has died twice now. Sure, his body never dematerialized. But this to him is like a whole nother level of everything. I guess he's like, is this really Septimus? Can we trust this thing? What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
Could I have like advantage with the insightful?
Sure, because you're using a feature and it's not just a normal insight check.
Thanks. I didn't roll. Oh, well, the advantage got me a nat 1. So 26.
Oh, okay. Given the wildness of everything that's happened in the last few days, I'm sure there would be some doubt in your mind of like, is this really Septimus? Also, like, is this the same? If it is Septimus, is this the same Septimus that was here before? Is probably a more prominent question in your mind. With that insight check of 26, you 100% clock that he is none of his like jerry-rigged machine parts that he invented are on him. The machine weave that flows up his neck is more sophisticated and more akin to the arm granted to him by Lacuna. It all is more akin to what he was given through Lacuna and his converting of the staff to Machina. Even the third arm, before the third arm was this like steampunk rusty old thing that came off of the back of his arm, his back. But now it is a more sophisticated, smooth metal made of that same dark weave. A
mechadendrite, but not a mechadendrite.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't like operate with like jerry-rigged pistons and shit like that. It just moves like an arm.
Right.
And you, of course, notice the blue glow behind his pupils, and the haggard look as well. This is certainly, in your experience of resurrection and death, there's certainly, like, you think of how you came back with this same, you might even instinctually touch your chest, because that same weave his entire body's made out of is covering your chest.
Okay.
And obviously he's wearing robes, but like I imagine they're like fairly like loose robes. And you can like see that his chest is, everything about him is made of this weave, other
Yeah, the
than like
robes he
his
grabbed from the
face.
farm are not like his normal ornate ones that he wore. This is just back at the closet, something he found to try to cover himself, so he's not just a fucking
Moth-eaten, hold.
Yeah, and like
Stinky.
you can see the only part of him that is still flesh is basically his face and his hair. And it looks like it won't always be. It'll eventually be woven into the overall fabric of his new body. How this happened, indiscernible with an insight check, but like from your experience, like it's more akin to when you were resurrected by the old man in the sky than when Septimus resurrected you, and that it is there's no world where he came back not via the whims of an outer world being.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, so Jacques is just staring at Septimus from across the table.
I saw it. Machina. For a brief moment, I was relieved to have been right. Sure, there have been doubts for many years. Even your quips and your jabs. I try not to show it, but sometimes it fell through my mind that perhaps what I was thinking was maybe not what it seemed. But the entity that I felt was the culmination and will, spirit of Alma given into machine. But sadly, that didn't last too long. For I was somewhat disappointed. The entity, at least from what I learned, Machina, is not a primordial being. I saw visions of a fallen empire, Halcyon, their will to dominate the continent and all of these continents. It's what created this entity. That's what Machina is. And to its counter, Lacuna. Lacuna, what I thought was the void of thought, it's just a manifestation of fear, anger. Of what the Kieran had developed. And in the moment that I was sitting in this chamber, speaking to the Machina, it told me that that Lacuna is my destiny. My destiny is Lacuna. And through me, I will be free. Or we will all be free.
Sorry. Lacuna is your destiny. As in, it's your destiny to defeat Lacuna? Because they're trying to fuck up everyone's shit? Please? Say that's what you mean?
I'm uncertain. Because in that moment, just hearing all this information, my previous world shattered. I just lay in a catatonic state. My will to live even faltered. And in that moment, I submitted myself to what was to come next. The next thing I knew, I was alive again on my farm. And even though my will was broken, and I don't quite know what my role is to play in all this, as long as I'm still standing on here, on this plane of existence, I will continue to do what I think is right. And to protect Hyven, my home, from destruction.
As Septimus finishes speaking, Sass will stand up and reach a hand into her pocket and say, I know with all of this uncertainty, there's a lot of it. We learned a whole bunch of shit that we'll catch you up on eventually, but there is one thing that at least I am certain about. And from my pocket, I'll pull out the little ruby keychain that I got for you. And I will hand it back to you, and I'll press it to your chest where your heart would be. And I'll say, that hasn't changed. And I know that you will follow it and do what you think is right.
So he'll take it. I'll hold it. I'll just grasp it and clutch it in his fist.
Don't break it.
No, he's not squeezing it hard. So what have all you learned?
Sigil's an ordering spirit. There's a race to become the manifestation of the elements.
Sypogen's a god.
No, he's seeking the manifestation of the elements, as is Ro, and Lacuna is bringing about the end of potentially all of our existence. But,
No big deal.
that can wait to another day.
I want another one, please.
Anders, you heard her.
I'm making them as fast as I can, boss.
That wasn't your
There you go.
voice.
I don't remember my voice. I'm some kind of Elvis now.
Sigil? An ordering spirit of what?
The
Was
elements?
of the elements, but he has since, to keep the metaphor running, lost his seat at the table.
He has a crown. They
Knowing
can't
that's
can't
Mhm.
right now.
knowing Sigil's affinity to elements and hearing he's an ordering spirit of the elements and piecing together.
Oh, don't forget the Aradunai. They want to kill Sigil too, or capture him.
They don't want to kill him. So,
And knowing it's time of entering Hyven and thinking about the scale of which Northern Spirit comes to Earth. Or, I'm sorry, Ardu.
Oh, and Fiora Bendega's alive.
she's
You'll see
upstairs resting.
trying to keep it as best on his face as possible of being indifferent. Like, his fist, I guess the one he's holding the ruby in, like, will kind of get, like, a little tighter. So, like, it'll shake a bit. So is he... Sigil. All the lives lost on this island. Is he
Lacuna's
responsible?
fault.
Turns to you and tilts his head. What does Lacuna have to do with Sigil?
Sigil lost his seat. And when he fell, the storm was a result. But the only reason he was ousted was because of Lacuna. Sigil holds himself responsible. He admitted it. He said that he was the one responsible for all those deaths and questioned himself. The way I see it, that was only a reaction to the actions of, I don't know what to call Lacuna, that fucking thing.
It's just a Septimus takes a sigh of not relief, but a little more ease. I've been told Lacuna is my destiny. Akranosh is the main threat of Hyven. But we do need to understand what Lacuna is and how or what its goal is. I'm not even quite sure of my part in this.
Well, until I hear otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, your destiny connected to Lacuna is to see that motherfucker ended. Right?
Yeah.
That's the will of Machina. And if it's not, it fucking should be.
Well fucking said.
So says I, the Allman with an inflated ego. What could go wrong?
Ego is quite the presumption I felt when speaking to Machina. It was telling me all this information as if revealing itself made no difference in my decisions, and I'm merely a pawn in something greater. I don't understand it, but I'm not going to be there.
You're here. Jacquet raises his glass. The not being the gods' playthings.
And
Or
cheers us to
devils.
that.
As Jacquet looks to Saskia.
Wait a minute. Whoa, wait. That was mean.
Jacquet kind of shrugs, but does not change what he says.
Who knows? Maybe this is all just some larger plan by some even more powerful elemental. You know, we are just playing along on the strings. Sigil's just here to give us a false sense of hope. We're all fucked anyway.
Anders looks to Jacquet as he's shaking a drink, and he says, Mr. Touchard, I do believe Mr. White Eye is drunk.
Cut him off. Cut him off.
Might as well go down fighting, right?
As
Give me another
finishes
drink.
his drink.
The spear tries to bear wrestle this man for another drink.
Try and stop me from having another. I dare you.
But yes, you can enjoy your drinks and the return of your friend Septimus, albeit via weirdness. And eventually retire for the evening to rest. Fyrn, I imagine you go back to your fortress. Everyone else, I imagine, stays in the Gloveless Cat. Septimus, you might go back to your temple.
I might go back to my ship.
You can go back to your ship. Septimus, I believe now you only need 4 hours for rest. As you are, your character sheet might not be updated, but you are you still planning to use the Warforged species?
I am.
Excellent.
No more heroic inspiration every day. Something that you were definitely using.
Something you desperately needed a lot of times.
Persica's like, what?
6 hours. It's 6 hours. You don't need to sleep. Like, you actually do not need sleep. But you do need to finish long rests in order to still gain the effects, which is really you just sitting in a motionless state. You appear inert. You appear like you're sleeping, but you are technically still conscious. The useful thing to know about that is that you can't be, you can still be like snuck up upon, but like you appear sleeping and somebody might not realize that they failed to sneak up on you. But you remain conscious throughout the night, even though you're in that sort of similar to Sal, that kind of like stasis.
Stasis buddies.
They share a dock, you know.
Yeah, they plug into the same outlet. But yes, you can all rest for the evening, and you finish your long rest.
Whee!
No.
So did they tell us when the governor was going to arrive in Hyven? Did we get an estimate?
No. Emil said that he would begin communications with the governor, that he had been holding off on until the docks were secured and everything was stable.
Okay. Maybe we'll check up on him tomorrow.
All right. Avengers assemble.
Iron and mana, assemble.
You each awake in the morning. Septimus a little bit earlier. But Sass, you step out onto your dock. All right, this was preemptive. You step out onto your dock. You do your nice little stretches. There's some bird song in the air because we're only 2 weeks away from the new year, and it's actually a little warmer out. There's not really snow falling as much as it's cold rains.
Beautiful day.
The wind is whipping up. Fyrn, you step out onto your walls of your fort, looking out down to the lower city. Jacquette, maybe you're with a cup of tea out in front of the Gloveless Cat, also able to kind of like look down the street towards the docks. Everything is beautiful and peaceful. It was a new day. But a strange wind blows through the air. and you all across the entire city hear, or not hear, I'm sorry, smell cinnamon.
No, fuck.
In the docks, waves begin to tremble, Saskia. You see some sailors struggling to sail their ship in the distance as these waves start to careen. You all see the ship kind of in the middle of the bay, struggling in these waves.
Fyrn's immediately jumping to all of his people, warning people, like waking up his soldiers that aren't, awake already, telling them to, get to battle positions, essentially. Like, he's not taking any risks.
They start to get into these battle positions, unsure of what's happening. Everyone smells the cinnamon, the waves are careening, and then in an instant, as you're all looking at the bay, as if appearing from nowhere, immediately ripping that sailboat to shreds as a large bow of a ship cuts through it in half, and the ship sinks, and the people are struggling in the water as a massive, completely made of arcane metals, shaped long with a tower at the back with spikes at the front, all made of this sort of indigo, beautiful, well-crafted arcane metal, is a halcyonic dreadnought.
Whoa.
What the fuck? Ty!
That's where we're going to end tonight.
Bruce is on the bow. Yeah, so I changed shot.
Surrender. All right, folks, that's where we're going to end tonight. We'll catch you all next week. Thanks for hanging out with us.